Hi, so for today's video I thought I would do something a little bit different than my usual, and I thought I would do some conspiracy theories because I am actually obsessed with watching conspiracy theory videos and reading about different conspiracy theories, so why not do it on my own channel? And So I have two conspiracy theories today. One is about the Rugrats slash All Grown Up, and the second is about Phineas and Ferb. You may have heard these and you may have not. I just heard about them as well while I was researching. So yeah, I'm going to get on to these conspiracy theories right now, and I hope you guys enjoy them. Okay, so the first one is about Phineas and Ferb. And if you don't know what Phineas and Ferb is, it's a show on Disney Channel. And it's about these two little brothers, Phineas and Ferb, and they go and build all kinds of this crazy stuff. And they have an older sister called Candace. And she is always trying to rat them out to her mom and everything to get them in trouble. Also, if you hear anything, it's my cat. So theory is a little bit darker. Went on to say that Candace has lost her mind due to all kinds of bad things happening. And it started off happening by her brother Phineas. That Phineas was bullied a lot in school for being so nerdy. And then one day a bully punched him so hard that he actually died. And that is when Candace's life started going like upside down kind of thing. So the theory goes on to say, explain that it happened, that Candace is imagining these things. Went on to say that Candace couldn't deal with this death of her brother. She couldn't deal with having these emotions that went on with Phineas dying. So she dreamed of this. So she built up this imaginary world that said, it's explaining that Phineas and Ferb, they build all these things and go on adventures together. This is the world that she made up for her to help her grieve that her brother died. And it went on to say that the reason why Ferb is like so quiet and stuff is because he has a disability, so he doesn't really talk much in that. But she does imagine her brother and Ferb building stuff and going on these adventures. And the reason why her mom can't see it is because obviously it's all made up in her brain to help her cope with stuff. And then it went on further. They explained Dr. Doofenshmirtz, which is the villain, I guess you would say, is actually her psychologist, and he's trying to help her control these things. That's why he's kind of like the villain, I guess. I don't understand that bit. But it went on to say that she had to see him 2 times a week. So the mom it was putting a lot of strain on the family that they had to deal with this, and then Candace going like crazy, I guess you could say. So the mom, she couldn't do it. It was putting a lot of strain on their family, having to pay all the medical bills and everything, so she could see Dr. Doofenshmirtz. So, in order to do that, it went on to say the mom, she wrote down all of Candace's, all of her stories and little adventures that she said happened to her brothers. And her mom sent all of the stories that she wrote down from Candace to Disney on a whim. And then Disney decided to turn it into a story, so it all worked out. And that is the Phineas and Ferb conspiracy theory. And then the second conspiracy theory we have is about the Rugrats slash All Grown Up. And it went on to say that the Rugrats were a figment of Angelica's demonic and unimaginable imagination. In 1986, Chucky died along with his mother, which is why Chaz is so nervous. Tommy was born in 1988, but he was a stillborn. That's why Stu is always building stuff and things for little children. And then the Devils had an abortion in 1990, and Angelica couldn't figure out if it was a boy or a girl, so she imagined that it would be twins. Hence Dylan and Phil, yes. And then All Grown Up came in, and it was, as a teenager, Angelica became addicted to all kinds of stuff that helped her with her schizophrenia, which is how she came up with the little babies, Tommy, Chucky, Dylan, Phil, and all of them. So the schizophrenia helped her bring all her creations together, but in All Grown Up, she remade her creations in All Grown Up, and she didn't know the age of them, as the theory goes on, so she made them around her age. So then the theory went on to say how Angelica was constantly taking acids. She would always be taking acid, so she would never have to live without these creations she created in her head. And this one is kind of weird, but it says that Angelica's mom actually died, and then the mom that we see in the show is actually her stepmom, who was a gold digger and who Angelica looked up to. But then her doll Cynthia apparently is what her actual mother looked like, and that is why she is so attached to the Cynthia. And her mom, I don't know if I mentioned this, but it died of an overdose, and then that is how she died. But as Angelica got older, she died the same way as her mom did, with an overdose, which is why, so when Angelica died of the overdose, that is what goes on to say why the show was cancelled, because she died of an overdose. However, do you remember Dale, Tommy's little brother? He's like the only one who is not considered one of her creations. He's an actual person, and the reason why she doesn't know that is because he doesn't listen to her, like when she would talk to him and stuff. And then one day she got really angry at him and she like punched him, and this gave Dill a hemorrhage in the brain, and which kind of messed him up a little bit. So then later in life, that is why now grown up, Dill is kind of like the outcast kind of thing, it went on to say. And then Angelica is so guilty that she did this, which is why she went to like taking all these medications in the first place that she shouldn't be taking, because she felt so guilty for everything that she did to Dill. And then remember how the Rugrats went to Paris and Chaz fell in love with Kyra? Well, it went on to say another theory that, but apparently Kyra, she had a daughter named Kimmy, but apparently Kimmy was torn from her because she was a coke addict. So then I went on explaining how Kimmy really wasn't part of their life, and then Chaz was in denial about her being a prostitute or something and a coke addict. And then they went off and got married in America, and she got her green card, and they lived happily ever after, and nothing else was mentioned of Kimmy. End of theory, I'll end off with Susie Carmichael, who we all know and love. She was apparently Angelica's only friend, and she liked to listen to Angelica talk about all of these creations she would come up with. She would sit in like the cafeteria imagining all these things, all these creations happening to her. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of that theory. It's actually a few theories in one. That is the end of this video and the conspiracy theories, and I hope you guys enjoyed them, because I really enjoy reading about them, researching different conspiracy theories. So if you think I should do more conspiracy theories, just leave a comment below and give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know that you enjoyed this, and I really hope you did. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. Oh, and please subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.